All right. So this video is just going to be more, I guess, rambling on different things that I've noticed. And that's for one thing, like with my music when I'm playing it, I recently watched like a video from Hannah's Elsewhere about you know, like if you're a cancer student, and that relates to me because of having the cancer in the third house. And you know, after that, like, it's something I knew, but from the, you know, perspective of, you know, what she spoke on about that, you know, it really maybe like more closely, like go over, like reconsider, you know, what my method naturally is of going about that. And I noticed it is very, very crab-like. Even like looking at the scales and like how it transitions between like one to the next. You know, even like what I end up doing with my hands, it just like, I don't know, it looks like a crab. Like, it's very much like, you know, I'm feeling this over the moment, and then like I'm not so much feeling it and going on to the next. And there is a lack of structure, and I have, you know, kind of a issue with that. And that makes sense now because Cancer is the opposite of Capricorn, of course. So I'm going by, you know, what I genuinely feel like playing. But after I play something one time, a lot of times I don't feel like playing it again, which leads to the lack of the, you know, the Capricorn. And it's kind of this annoyance, honestly, of this feeling of like, you know, I've wanted to find a band where someone else could point out different things that I did and say, you know, this should go in a song. You know, this shouldn't go in a song. But then I've also noticed that when I'm getting that feedback, that I'm kind of critical of it because they're having a different feeling, and they're wanting something different out of the music than I am. So I'd have to do it myself, you know, for it to really paint a picture the way I would, you know, like it to be painted. Yeah, and it's this kind of block there. But I imagine the solution has something to do with, again, the, you know, nodes yet again, or whatever it is, that separation of making my house the top of the mountain, you know, making you know, my feeling the structure. But then that, even as I say that, that lanes, you know, I have like an inclination towards like, you know, progressive metal music because it's always like moving forward. And it's, you know, my other friend that is a ENTJ Capricorn rising actually said that it's kind of like, it's music, it's like, you know, structure without a structure, or whatever is the idea of it. And which may just sound like, you know, improv, but it's like, it bothers me for it to fit into a box, kind of. Like, if you can put a name on it, it's like I lose interest in it. Which I guess is, you know, yet again, going back to the Aries thing, like wanting a new experience. Like so it's like, it would seem like ideally, like I'd like to just like go on stage, play whatever I felt like playing, and it be really good. So I guess in a sense like an impromptu type thing, but then on the other hand, I really, like, I want it to be like, it's like if I'm going to structure, I want it to be like super structured on a, you know, constant changing emotion or feel, like kind of like how, like the structure of the movie Cloud Atlas, the idea of like how that movie works would be like how I would want my music to work, where it's like, you know, you have the same characters, but the dynamics change, or, you know, the entire like plot changes or shifts around. You know, some people are older now, some people are younger now, some, you know, it's like there's something holding it together you can't quite put your finger on, while everything's constantly moving and changing. So, you know, I really do, you know, agree with that. Which I may have touched on that or hit on that, like, in one of my older videos about, like, my preferences, but I feel like maybe that's a little bit more well worded this time. So, what arts? Let's see. Oh, I should probably mention what it is that I've done that has gotten me out of the situation, or is like helping with it. So, there's another possibility of, like, for instance, okay, through RuneScape, yeah, the game that I was playing, you may have seen on, like, the Flipping Old School channel, my collection actually has been featured now. It's gotten like 86,000 views. And it's actually, like, I'd argue it's, if it's not the most difficult one to get, it's at least like in the top 3 of the ones shown. It's not in order, but for instance, like, yeah, my point of that is that it's worth, essentially, like, if you were trying to pay Jagex, like the game, and, like, you know, buy it from other people trading, it would be like, you know, in theory, by their prices, probably like $1,200. So the rarity, the difficulty to get that has kind of opened up a an avenue, you know, for generating interest. You know, so there's that, and you know, I've noticed, I'm kind of exploring the idea of, okay, what does that mean? I seem to have luck with collections. Is that, you know, perhaps like the Capricorn 9th house coming out? Is that, you know, the combination of that with the Taurus, like, holding on to stuff? Is that the self-preservation instinct? You know, that I am pretty certain I have second after thinking about it, because, like, when that's something I should touch on too, probably, is I've had a lot of trouble because of the aspect of, and before I go into that, I'm gonna actually make that something separate as well. Yeah, ramblings. All right, next video.